Exodus chapter 4. And Moshe answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice. For they will say, Yahweh hath not appeared unto thee. And Yahweh said unto him, What is in thy hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it to the ground. And he cast it to the ground. And it became a serpent, and Moshe fled from before it. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Put forth thy hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand, and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, have appeared unto thee. And Yahweh said furthermore unto him, Put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, Put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. And it shall come to pass, if they shall not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou shalt take of the water of the river, and pour it upon the dry land, and the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. And Moshe said unto Yahweh, O my master, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. And Yahweh said unto him, Who hath made man's mouth, or who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or seeing, or the blind? Have not I, Yahweh? Now therefore go, and I will be thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. And he said, O my master, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him who thou wilt send. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Moshe, and he said, Is not Aharon the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee, and when he sees thee, he will be glad in his heart. And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be thy mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what you shall do. And he shall be thy spokesperson unto the people, and he shall be, even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of Elohim. And thou shalt take this rod in thy hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. And Moshe went and returned to Jethro his father-in-law, and said unto him, Let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said unto Moshe, Go in peace. And Yahweh said unto Moshe in Midian, Go, return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life. And Moshe took his wife and his sons, and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moshe took the rod of Elohim in his hand. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, When thou go to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thy hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus says Yahweh, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. And it came to pass by the way in the inn, that Yahweh met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone, and cut off the foreskin of her son, and cast it at his feet, and said, Surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go. Then she said, A bloody husband thou art, because of the circumcision. And Yahweh said unto Aharon, Go into the wilderness to meet Moshe. And he went, and met him in the mountain of Elohim, and kissed him. And Moshe told Aharon all the words of Yahweh who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moshe and Aharon went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aharon spoke all the words which Yahweh had spoken unto Moshe, and did signs in the sight of the people. And the people believed, and when they heard that Yahweh had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked upon their affliction, then they bowed their heads and worshipped.